Hey guys, Mayflom here, and I'm excited because today I'm taking a little break from my camp scrap preparations to share with you guys some exciting stuff, alright? Ranger has got 3 new sets of mini distress inks shipping to stores now, and these sets are absolutely great, okay? My personal favorite is going to be this one right here, also known as number 9. It's got Stormy Sky, Frayed Burlap, Dried Marigold, and Forest Moss. Now, I'm not just going to tell you they're my favorites, I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to do a technique with each of the 3 sets, and over on my blog, I'm giving away these. Exactly. So if you want to win, and hopefully if you're watching this and it happens to be while the drawing's going on, you can hop over to my blog and check that out. I'll put a link below in my video. All right, let's get started. Anything I'm doing here you could do with the regular distress ink pads, but something I really like about the minis here is because they are so small, and let's just face it, so darn cute, I'm going to make a little checkered pattern here. And I'm going to come in with, I'm mostly going honey and lipstick here, but I suppose you could do any colors you want. I'm leaving old paper out of this, and I'll talk about that one in a minute. Let's get some weathered wood, and looks like I've got a square there. I'll do honey in that square. Okay, so if they overlap a tiny bit, it's not a problem, but you can see I pretty much left a little space. And then I'm going to squirt them with water until I feel like it's so wet that the colors are really going to blend together and mush up really nice. I'm also going to take, and yeah, mush up, it's a technical term. I'm also going to take my tag and I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water. And the reason I'm spraying it with water is I find if the tag is already a little more wet, the colors will kind of blend on the surface more instead of soaking right in right where they are. And then I'm going to set my tag. Oh, and look at that. I made it the exact right size, and that wasn't intentional. I actually thought it was too big. And you can see the colors bleeding over onto the back. You can see the colors saturating. We're going to flip this over. Oh, look how cool that is. And look at our little checkered pattern. That really is only possible with the mini distress inks because it gave me all those tiny little squares. Set number 8 makes me think of the fall with Dusty Concord, Crushed Olives, Tumbled Glass, and Ripe Persimmon. So for set number 8, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a stamping technique here. And I actually did this, you can see it here, this is actually set number 9 that I did this with. But I'm going to show you how I did this super quick and easy. So first thing, again, I'm going to mist my stamp with water because I'm not known for being a particularly clean crafter, and I'm pretty sure, yep, there's some color on there. So I'm just doing that just to prep it so that I know it's clean and now it's dry. And then the next thing I'm going to do, and again, this goes into why I love distress ink in mini so much, I'm just dabbing this with color, and if I'm worried about it, about certain colors overlapping, I can always get in here real close and look. Personally, I can kind of see which areas of the stamp look like they've been colored and which don't. And I'm going to get some water action in here, so if I accidentally miss a spot, it's okay. Quite honestly, I like the surprise. I really like the surprise. So, mist with water, keep the stamp pretty flat. I'm going to mist with water until I start seeing little droplets of water and even color form, but I'm not going to mist so much that I see a bunch of standing water down in the lower areas of the stamp. So this one looks pretty good, and I'm going to stamp it twice, and I'm not going to re-ink it or anything. It will have enough color, as you can see, to stamp twice. Because of the water, you can see how it's all going to be kind of blendy and awesome, and I love that. And we're just going to dry it off real quick, and while it dries off, I'm also going to wipe down, yes, I can multitask, wipe down my mat so that it's dry, because I don't want any liquid on here for the next step. And another thing that I will note here is I want my tag to be totally dry before I move on to the next step, because I don't, while it is smeared and intentionally smeared, I don't want to smear any further. I want that stamped image to stay right as it is, because our next step is going to be, we're going to take these same colors and we're going to put on a foam blending tool, any foam blending tool, and use these same colors. And I'm starting with Tumbled Glass, one of my favorite colors, but also one of the lighter colors. And what I will do is just kind of work up the different colors in different areas. And am I being super strategic about it, like not putting the crushed olive on top of an area that clearly has crushed olive? Actually, no. And the reason is you're going to get a different intensity when you're using the ink with the foam versus when you had the blended color direct onto the stamp with the water. So to me, it's a big part of the fun to just see what's going to happen. And you can see here all that color, and even though I just blended on all of that Distress ink to fill in the background, my stamp is still showing, and it's still vibrantly showing, awesomely showing. I could absolutely have done this the other way around, where I do the Distress ink blending first and then stamp. I like to stamp first because I like to see what color ends up where, and then decide what colors and where I want my Distress ink blended background. And it's super cool because you're gonna get a really blended look. And I just added flecks of water to add water spots. You're gonna get a really blended look. The stamped image is gonna look really cool, and it's gonna give you a very rich, really deep background. I really like how much depth there is to this background. Which takes us to my favorite set of these three. Set number 9, Dried Marigold, Stormy Sky, Frayed Burlap, and Forest Moss. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I know right off the bat what I love the most about this particular set is it reminds me of fall, it reminds me of the woods, and I love that kind of a look, especially with Distress ink. I know my nails are painted kind of a salty ocean blue. I love the brights of Distress, but I also really love the real woodsy, natural looking colors too. So for this one, what I think we're gonna do is do a different kind of a application here. And I'm trying to debate here as I look, because I really love how that one turned out, and I really love how this one turned out too. But this one, I think what I'm gonna do is similar to this one. I'm gonna do little strips of color here. And they don't have to touch. They could be pretty close to touching, but they don't have to touch exactly. And I'm going to do a little extra orange and a little extra blue because those are the lighter colors. And I always like to do a little extra on the lighter colors if I'm doing something like this. So the paint that I have on hand is a little bit of white gesso. White paint of any kind will work. This is kind of a thin paint, and I like that. That's going to work well for us. I hope we're going to find out. I just thought about how it might look if we had a wet medium like paint mixed with the wet Distress. And I was just thinking that that might look really cool. And it looks like I'm going to have a little extra paint, so I can just put any extra paint. And you can see my tag wants to curl up because my tag is wondering what in the heck am I doing here. Alright, so when I'm happy with my tag, I'm going to flip it on over and I'm going to press it into the color. Oh, and yes, this is going to make a pretty royal mess, by the way. But it's okay because I am my own cleanup crew, so I'll fix it up later. And then I'm going to pull up and see what happened. Oh, look at that. And there's some areas where there's not a lot of color picking up. I can scoop back in. I could even scoop back in like that. Oh, look at that. That's fun. You know what? I'm going to leave it just like that. I like that. I like that. Look how cool that is, how it picked up some of the Distress and some of the color. Okay, you guys, so those are 3 background techniques on tags. Again, you can visit over on my blog. I'll have some pictures. I'll turn one of these into a finished tag, put it up on my blog. And again, June 2014 here, I am giving away a spot in my upcoming online class, as well as a set of these beautiful Distress inks. So thank you to Tim Holtz and to Ranger for asking me to play along. This has been a lot of creative fun. Now I just have to wait for some paint to dry And then I'm going to make myself some fun tags. Happy crafting!